Alright, I'm going to start out with my foundation. I am using the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation in the shade Light 5 Fiji. I'm going to apply it with a damp beauty blender and blend it throughout my whole face. I love the finish the beauty blender gives. It just makes your face so flawless and fresh and dewy. When working with a beauty blender, you want to make sure you soak it in water. Like, I mean drench it and just squeeze the shit out of it under the water. You're going to turn the water off and then you're going to keep squeezing it until the excess water is out, and then take a tissue or towel or paper towel and squeeze the excess out. You want to make sure it's nice and bouncy, but you don't want there to be excess water in the beauty blender because that will lighten up your coverage, and it just works nicer when there isn't as much water built up into it. And then when you apply it, you can just do light bouncy motions. This is going to give you more coverage when you are lightly bouncing it over your face. If you swipe, you're just going to swipe the product around your face, give you a little bit of coverage, but the best way to use a beauty blender is when it is damp with the excess water squeezed out of it and patting light motions over your whole face. So then when I blend it down my neck, I do use swiping motions. I start out by swiping around my jawline and blending it down just because I don't need coverage on my neck. I just want to make sure that everything blends nicely and that there aren't any lines or anything. Now that I am done with foundation, I'm moving on to concealer. I am going to be highlighting with the concealer like I normally do. If you watch my videos, this is nothing new. I am using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer in the shade Light Warm. I am then going to take the other side of my beauty blender and start blending. And how I blend my concealer, because I want to keep some coverage to really bring light back to the face and add more coverage, I like to start around the edges of the concealer. So I start out right underneath my eye and I push that into my lower lash line, go up into the corner, and I take this corner here and start dragging onto my eyelid to prime my eyes for eyeshadow. I then go ahead and blend out this edge onto the side of my nose. This is going to help if you go in and contour or just bronze up like I do. I don't really contour my nose on a daily basis, but putting some lighter concealer here and then a darker contour shade on the side of your nose is going to help really slim down your nose if that's the effect that you want. I then go underneath and blend out that line. So as you can see, I have not touched the inner part of my concealer yet. I just strictly blended out the edges, and then ever so slightly I'm going to go in and just go over it once just to make sure, or twice, that it's all blended nice. And as you can see, I really kept that coverage, but I just worked out and blended out the edges so there aren't any harsh lines. I'm going to do the exact same thing to this eye. So then for the rest of my face, I don't really do the same. I just kind of start blending it out very lightly though, because like I said, I want to keep the coverage and the lightness because I really want that highlight to be poppin' today. Sorry if the light changes at all. I am using natural light and it looks like there are some clouds going in and out, so I'm apologizing in advance. I am then going to set just my eyelids right now because I really like to let my foundation set and dry a little bit before going in with powder. I find this the best way to keep the coverage because I find that if my concealer is still wet and I go in with powder, it kind of breaks up and start to get redness peeking through my foundation and concealer, so I just like to really let it set and dry on its own before setting my whole face with powder. So for eyebrows, I am using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. I use the comb to comb through my brows. I'm just going to go through these pretty quick because my eyebrows are pretty basic. And if you want a tutorial, leave a comment below and I will show you an in-depth brow routine. But we're just going to knock these babies out real quick. Starting out by drawing a line underneath very lightly using hair-like strokes. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is set just right underneath my eye to prime for the eyeshadow. I'm going to go for a more bold, colorful look today though. But I'm going to start out with just a transition shade first to get things going, and just on a big fluffy brush, put it in my crease messily. I am going to go in with the matte teal color in this palette, same big fluffy brush, and I'm going to start this on my lower crease. But I am just going back in with that shade and deepening this color up. I'm going to take more of a flat brush and really start packing the color on. I'm going to start out with the shimmery teal shade on the inner corner of, wow, that is intense. I'm then going to move on to the royal blue shade in this palette using the exact same brush. So I'll kind of help them blend together. I'm going to start on the middle of my eye and start applying this, blending back and forth, blending it with that teal shade, and then on the outer corner just a little bit. But I'm going to go in with the purple shade and take that on the outer corner of my eye. Messily, apparently. I'm going to go back in with my blending brush and just with nothing on it, blend out my crease. We're going to start on the lower lash line. I'm going to go in with the teal shade first and pop that on my inner lower lash line. I am then going to go in with the royal blue. Take it on the middle, blend it into the teal color. And then last but not least, take the purple and put it on the very outer edge and connect it to the upper eyeshadow. I am going to go in and highlight my inner corner and my brow bone, and I am going to, let's see, I'm going to use the second shade in the palette, and I'm first going to start out on my brow bone. Then I'm going to go ahead and go in with this purple eyeliner. Nicely, and then I'm going to go in with some mascara, pop some lashes on, throw this whole eye look together, and I'll be right back to finish off the rest of my face. So I'm going to go ahead and powder the rest of my highlight areas. All powdered, I'm going to move on to bronzer to bronze up my pale ass face. I'm going in with blush. I forgot to mention, for bronzer I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. For blush, I'm using the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in Party. That has 3 A's. That's why I said it like that. Blush done. Of course, cannot forget to highlight, and I am using the Becca Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop, of course. Okay, so I'm first just going to line my lips. And I'm using this Ulta Beauty lip liner in the shade Nude. It's from a little Christmas collection I got around Christmas time. That nude is a little dark for me because I'm so pale, so I'm going to lighten up it a little bit. Then I am just going to go in with my ever so trusty NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Eclair. This is